Hey guys, welcome back to Dirt's Daily. Now, Chicago Comic-Con is going on right now. But before I take off to go see all of the good stuff going on, I figured it was time to take a look at some comic reviews for this week. Let's start off with Ghost Rider Heaven's on Fire #1. Now, if you've been reading Ghost Rider the past few years, then this fits right in. This is technically the next story, the next issue in the arc. This continues on the story of Heaven Has Fallen, and the rogue angel, whatever his name is, this one, whatever his name is, he has taken over, and Ghost Rider is helping to fight back, instead of just standing around waiting for the end of the world. Now this continues that same kind of campy, B-movie, some people call it that whole Grindhouse thing. Now the Grindhouse, came back into fashion, but it's kind of that fun and spooky, atmospheric, over-the-top thing that you've come to know and love from the regular Ghost Rider series. If you haven't been keeping up with Ghost Rider, that's fine. This is actually written in such a way that the newbie to the whole Ghost Rider story will follow along just fine. So you've got no excuse for not going out and picking this one up. Captain America Reborn #2. Now, we had some people request that we cover Captain America Reborn, so I'll tell you what's going on. Well, I won't tell you everything that's going on, but I'll tell you this. The first issue wasn't really all that good. You had a lot of stuff going on, and none of it was really explained that well. Well, in this issue, there's still a lot going on, but it's explained a little bit better, actually. You kind of get more of a sense of what's going on and why things are important. Before, in the first issue, they would say, oh, well, Steve Rogers is trapped in time. Oh, of course, Steve Rogers is trapped in... What? But now it's starting to make sense. They're getting their room to breathe and to grow, and the story is actually starting to take off in a way that I like. So that's one that you probably want to check out. Going over to DC, Red Circle the Hangman #1. Now, this is one of the old Archie characters. I believe this is the one that was kind of retooled into the Black Hood as part of the Impact line back in the day. This story is actually written more like a pilot episode of a TV show. So you get the characters introduced to you, you get a little bit of the storyline that happens in the Civil War era, and then it cuts to the modern time, and you kind of see what has happened in the time since then. And then the story ends, leaving it open for an ongoing series. Now, whether or not you're willing to buy the first part, technically, of a story that doesn't really finish, this kind of introductory story, don't worry, it wraps up. It's not like it leaves on a cliffhanger or anything like that. You still kind of get the feeling, though, that there could be a lot more to this character that they just don't get to because this is a one-shot special. Still, though, it's a good book, and really, if you just want to sit down and read a nice, solid story from front to back, there you go. Superman, World of New Krypton 6. Now, this kicks off one of these big crossover things that's going to go through all the different Superman books. But that aside, it's a very interesting story. And here's one of the key reasons why. Zod. General Zod, kneel before Zod. He's dying. He's been shot. He's been almost assassinated. And he's on his deathbed. And Superman is actually going to have to go out and stop the people who tried to assassinate Zod. Now, two things going on here. One, you get the feeling that there's a much bigger conspiracy. There's something more going on, which means Superman has to think a little bit more, which is nice. It's nice to see the Man of Steel using the old noodle. But the other thing that's kind of nice about it, too, is that Zod has become more than just that guy. Just more than the Zod type dude. He's not just this big burly bear busting down walls. He's becoming more of a real character, even more so now that he's on his deathbed. Still very interesting and worth checking out. Irredeemable #5. Talking about big super guys who have gone bad, Irredeemable #5 is another book along those same lines. But one of the key things about this book that makes it so interesting is all the other characters around him. Now, the Plutonian, the lead guy in this story, is kind of a Superman gone bad. He was just tired of the weight of the world on his shoulders. He was tired of being betrayed by his friends. He was tired of having to just deal with the fact that he's super. So he turned bad. And while he's the main villain in this book, it's everyone else in the world rising up against him, all the other superheroes. And to be fair, most of them are clear rip-offs of other characters in the DC universe, but it's such an interesting story. It plays almost like an Elseworld story that DC would never have the guts to publish. So as far as that goes, it's really nice. And another story kind of along those same lines is Absolution #1. Absolution, of course, is the story of the superhero who decides, you know what, I'm sick of the courts, I'm sick of the technicalities, so he decides he's going to offer up some vigilante justice. Now, we've seen some of this stuff happen before, of course, Punisher, Wolverine do that kind of stuff from time to time. And Garth Ennis tried to do it with Black Summer, but he threw all that political crap in there that just really kind of made the whole thing just a giant stinker. What makes this one so good is the fact that you really empathize with this lead character. You really think, man, this guy has it tough. And unlike the Plutonian, who's such a good evil villain, this guy you're looking at and you're thinking, I can really see his point here. It's really kind of a tough situation to be in. And so as far as that goes, it really makes you think a little bit more and makes a good story. And the last book I want to talk about today is Chew #3 from Image. Now, if you haven't read the Chew, issue 1, issue 2, first of all, shame on you. But second of all, it's kind of hard to describe what's going on in these books. The easiest way I can think of is, think back to the books you read as a kid, in 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade, some of those books that were just kind of weird, where a kid could pick up a piece of chalk and draw a door on the wall, and the door would open and he'd walk through it. Weird. Stuff that makes absolutely no sense except with the fact that it's fantasy, so therefore it's okay. That's kind of what we have in the world of Chew. There are all these bizarre characters, these poultry terrorists, these... Chew himself has the ability to gain information by eating victims. He runs across a woman who can eat something and describe it so well that if it's something horrible and she describes it, anybody who reads it is going to get that same horrible sensation and vomit all over the place. What kind of powers are these? What kind of world is this? But it's so entertaining. And the artwork is great. You just really can't deny that. So Chew #3 is a book you want to check out too. Alright gang, that does it for this week. There's a handful of books for you guys to check out. I'm going to head off now to Comic-Con, although I probably should put some pants on first. You can't see that right now. But I'm going to head off to Comic-Con. I'm going to catch up with Duvall and Pixel Dan and Scotty Cash and our good buddy Lance from RetroWare TV and Damien from Killin' Enterprises. And we're just going to have a blast, and we're going to get some info for you guys up on the website. So make sure you check it out. We'll talk to you guys later.